Hard to look back. I listen to that song several times a week. I also listen to Red Eye Country. I think I turned it off. But even that might be off. Okay. Come too far to turn back. When we look and think about what's happening, I am so amazed at the games church members play. Amen. The games. He hurt my feelings. She hurt my feelings. As I said last week, that's what kindergarten kids do. 7th and 8th graders, and occasionally high schoolers. But not adults. Ones who claim to be Christians. And I use the word claim to be Christian. The Hoppers, that's who was singing. They've come too far to turn back. They're 60 years on the road this year. Or maybe last year. 60 years on the road. They've been 60 years traveling this country back and forth, and some of Europe, singing. Ask yourself a question. Come too far to turn back? Turn back to what? What would I turn back to? And I say, I don't quite understand. A little bit of a pitch on the side, left side. It's a God thing. Are we at the point where God no longer wants us involved? Are we at the point where we give it up? Come too far to turn back. Job had a problem. And his problem was he lost everything. Job 1:15, he lost his servants and his oxen. Job 1:16, he lost his servants and his sheep. Job 1:17, he lost his sheep, servants, and his camels. Job 1:19, he lost his children. Those of you who have some children, some of you might think, well, I'd be better off if they were never born. But they were born, so we got to deal with it. We got to deal with it. I've come too far to turn back. And then in Job 1:20 and 21 and 22, Job arose and tore his clothing, shaved his head. That's one of the things they did in those days when they're frustrated. They tear their clothing. And having the privilege down through the years of having personal care homes, we would have people that, when they got frustrated, they just start pulling their hair rapidly and viciously and screaming. We had one in Redline used to say, and she'd be screaming and pulling her hair and going like that, I need aspirin, I need aspirin, I need aspirin. So my wife would give an aspirin, give her aspirin. It was always amazing how one little aspirin would settle her down. So Job was frustrated at the time when he tore off his robe. If you're reading the King James, he tore off his mantle. When I first saw that he tore his mantle, I thought, what? You have a fireplace? You have a mantle? And then you read a couple of other translations, and you come up with that it was his robe. Or some say his robe, tore his robe. Some say his clothing, what have you. Regardless of it, he knew that, hey man, I'm in a bad spot. And then you look in verse 21. And when he says, naked I came from my mother's womb, and I asked, shall I return? And the Lord gave, and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Lord taketh, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. I hear people down time and church members ask some of the dumbest questions. Wait a minute. Why? God won't put any more on me than I can bear. Get a life. We take more on than we can bear. We take more on than we should be doing. I'm told all the time that I need to slow down. Well, I've slowed down some. And it's like I told a couple of people, it probably won't be long till I'll be done. That I start babbling, or I start repeating myself, or I just, like the guy bought the horse, the Amish guy. He hitched it up to his rig, and he starts out the lane from the farm of the Amish guy, and the horse went right into a tree, broke his neck, and died. So he went back to the Amish and he said, hey man, you sold me a sick horse, a blind horse. Oh no, he said, that horse wasn't blind. He just didn't care. So that's the way it is with church members. We continue to record, go on YouTube, and you can find our recordings. We pray that somebody, somewhere, might learn a little something. Yesterday, another thing that really drives me up a wall is a negativity. Negativity. People so negative. How about being positive? My Lord shall provide. Why not be positive? You say, man, there's only 8 of us in here today, 9 counting me. Well, count Christopher back there. Who are you preaching to, preacher? Obviously, it's not me. There comes times in our life when we kind of turn our back on God. Jesus' disciples turned their backs on Jesus. Peter turned his back on Jesus. When they say, aren't you the one that hung out with that man named Jesus? Oh, no, not me. And 3 times he denied it, and then the rooster crowed. Well, the rooster's about to crow for some people. And I just don't know. Job wouldn't turn his back on him. Job's wife said, man, why don't you curse God and die? Now today, he put a white beater shirt on, on sleeveless muscle shirts, or white ones, especially white. And then he'd just start beating her. Slap her simple. The Bible doesn't say he did that, but he told her, silly woman, why would you say that? And he would not turn his back on Jesus or on God. Would not. And most everybody that's been in church any length of time can look in at Luke 9:62. Luke 9:62. Somebody read it.
Jesus replied, no one who puts his hands to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God.
No one puts his hand on the plow and looks back. Now, silly. I don't think there's any of us in here that we go to, even if you're planting a little garden out back. Carol, for the longest time, had a little garden out back. She didn't use a mule or a horse and a plow. She had one of them rotor tiller type things that kept breaking down. And then she had guests who came with the vegetables. But she still didn't look back the next season and say, well, I'm not going to plant because the groundhog ate just about everything. I'm not going to plant because we didn't have enough rain. I'm not going to plant because, after all, if God wanted me to have those vegetables, He'd keep the groundhog away and He'd give me some rain. After all, I'll turn back. And the question again I ask you, think about it. If you turn back, what would you do? What would you go back to?
Sadness.
Pardon?
Sadness, loneliness.
Sadness, loneliness. Okay? Sadness and loneliness. You go back to loneliness. We had a good time yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
15 hours. About 15 hours. Something like that. Maybe 16 hours. I started at 4. Some others started at 4. Satan tried to stop it.
Yeah.
We had my trailer full of merchandise, including the chicken, the dead chickens. And we're heading over to the barbecue in Columbia. We get there to Frysville and hear, and I'm looking in my left mirror, and there the tire is flat on the trailer. Now we probably had over a ton. There was 1,000 bottles of water on it. 16-ounce bottles. How many bottles of 16 ounce does it take to make a gallon? The average liquid gallon is 8 pounds. We had some of those 2 gallons of water. Plus a freezer, a grill, a generator. We were just full of things. So my daughter's following me. I said, now what are we going to do? I don't have a spare. Don't have a spare for this. It's 5:30 in the morning. Then Satan, he kept working on it. He starts to rain a little bit. He said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. We're going to rain on them. Got this tire. Got them stuck here. Won't be able to get it. We're going to rain on them. So There was no room to be negative. Say, oh my, we'll not be able to get rid. My daughter says to me, how about the tire on my car? She got one of them little dummy things. There will be a law against those. She got one of those little dummy things. She said, Dad, that might fit. I said, no way would that fit. That's a Japanese piece of so-and-so. And this is American-made trailer. Probably has Japanese parts. Don't matter, it still has American all over it. The letter, the name, American. Of course, I've had it 22 years and the wheels haven't been off of it 22 years. 21 years. So, got my daughter, the grandson, the one who had his hand and fingers broke or something in here. So his strength was to break it. And there was my daughter, down on her knees, just a cranking away at that thing. So he brought the donut over. But well, we can't do this right where you come out on the Frysville Road. They'll pull over near that parking lot thing that they have there for the park. And so as we pull over, talk about Sanford and Son, the donut goes down over the hill into somebody's yard. Well, it rolled perfectly. But see, God had planned. She tried that jack, a little Japanese jack that they have for a car. And that would lift my backside, I guess, a little bit if I was sitting on a chair. But then I told her, let me check the jack on the back of my vehicle. Thought, well, maybe it's a bigger rim on my. So they helped me open it up. They had to move the merchandise. And then I don't know where they thought that jacket was going, but the people, the ones that built the automobile, they had that jack stuck in there and velcroed down, and it was horrible. And it took us about 15 minutes to get it out. Now see, Hammond, Satan's still Hammond. He's still Hammond. He don't want us to be over there. Don't want us to be over there. So we got my jack out finally, we jacked it up, and that, to my surprise, that donut fit. And as Megan was tightening the lugs, Elizabeth looks to her friend and says, it's a God thing. It's a God thing. So we figured if we just make it over here to the farm, then I can pull the wheel off of another trailer I had with the same side. And that's what we did. Meantime, we called Brian and them and come and get some chicken. Because I figured Smokey'd already have some fire going. You know who Smokey is. And so, they loaded up chicken. Christopher got some couple cases of chicken, and away they went, and we got the thing fixed. By the time we got over to where the barbecue is now, it's raining seriously. It's raining seriously. And we had two of those canopies that you've seen them, we had them out here. And they were okay, but they didn't quite cover everything. So luckily, I turned around as we were leaving the farm, and I told one of the girls with me, I said, run in there and see that blue tarp sitting over there, go get it. It was inside. She got it, brought it, we took the tarp from the two and stretched them out. We were able to barbecue the chicken.
Amen.
Satan tried to stop us. Satan did his best to have even church members being negative. Job lost his whole family, he lost everything. He was like the homeless guy living under the bridge. He didn't even have a bridge drawn up. My Bible tells me he went with his some of his friends, and he said 7 days and 7 nights and didn't say a word. Well, that never worked with me. Because I was given a gift of gab a long time ago. Well, his friends tried to tell him, give it up. Give it up. As the song said, I've come too far to turn back.
Amen.
And I will do my best to keep going. Amen. And get the personal pronouns out of the way. You know what a personal pronoun is? I.
Me.
Me. And on the left side of your bullet is another of those kids. You see those kids looking? You see what's in their hands? It's not a cell phone. It's not a tablet. You see what's in their hand? You know where those plates of food came from? Besides the store there we went and bought it. You know what made that possible? People of this church and people who donate. And people who donate. Now some people want to keep their money. Last week our offering was $80. You know what you can do with $80? It takes almost 60 to fill my car with gas. I'm not sure what the electric bill is, but I know one thing. When whoever came in first didn't have to wonder whether or not the electric would come on. Right?
Right.
It was there. Go downstairs to the potty. You didn't have to think, oh, it may not be working. Oh, I gotta go so bad, but it may not be working. Oh, I gotta go, but I gotta go. Maybe, well, I'm gonna go down because the toilet might be broke again. And that's the way all too many negative church members act. Are we going to be positive? Amen. June the 5th, we'll be leaving to go to Kenya. A sad thing has happened that Brian can't get a passport. And so, possibly it looks like McKinsey will go instead of him. Tomorrow, because of the barbecue yesterday, we're really close to being able to pay for the tickets.
Praise the Lord.
And when I say close, it's like when I tell people when they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm almost perfect. I'm close. I'm closer to heaven than I've ever been when I met everybody in here at one time or another. I'm close. So we're close.
You're closer than what you're saying.
We're closer than what we think. We had a gentleman come by yesterday, and he was in the Navy, and they put in port in Mombasa, which is the sea town off the Indian Ocean, like kind of like it's kind of like Ocean City and those places. Heavy tourism from Europe and Israelis, and he was talking to my daughter about it. Well, then he turned around and turned back after he bought. I don't know how many years he bought. It was only him in the vehicle. He didn't even have a dog. So he comes around and he says, and he hands me a bill, and I didn't even look at it. He says, I just want you to put this towards your mission. And after he left, I looked at it, it was a $50 bill. That's a God thing. See, there are people, there may be people who tithe regularly. And God leads them, the Holy Spirit leads them to donate to something or somebody. And they don't do it because they're saving it to when they get old. But let me tell you, you save it till you get old, and medical bills, the doctors from the hospital will eat it up.
That's right.
Just, the Holy Spirit tells you to give $100 to this person, or give $100 towards a project, or give $50 towards whatever. Do it!
Amen.
Amen.
I've had, I don't know how many funerals right out here. And then over Susquehanna Gardens, I had funerals over there. The ones who had caskets laid right in this area here. The casket was open, and there wasn't even $1 in the casket. They don't even have a full suit. Can you imagine trying to get a suit on a stiff? Can't do it. I tell my kids, I want boots. Well, I want you to put boots on mine when you put me in the box. Well, the mortician will have to cut the heels off the back of the boot. Just get them on. I guess, I don't know. But I know this, of all these funerals that I've had out there and the eulogy in here, there wasn't one, not even a dime, in any of those coffins. And when it's your turn, I had this young lady one time, her fiance's mother died. And she was sitting way in the back. Her name was Lori. And I said, Lori, how come you weren't up there with your fiance sitting? Oh, I just can't stand something like that. I just upsets me so much. I said, tell you what, here's the way it works. You're sitting back here now, but then one day it may be your grandparent, aunt, uncle, whoever. You'll be sitting closer, and then you'll be in the family bench. And then guess what? One day you'll be in the box. Yesterday, I don't know how many people, several people, asked for prayer. And we'll do that. We'll put them on the prayer list. One has cancer, the other has heart problems. And we can't stop just because they have cancer or heart problems. You got to keep living. Miss Nancy was given, even knowing that she was dying. Well, we're all dying. It's just that we haven't got the prognosis yet. You know how that works. When that Dr. Hershey came after examination and x-rays, we're sitting in the room, and he came and he said, do you want the bad news or the worst news? So the bad news is, you got pancreatic cancer. The worst news is, there's nothing we can do about it, so you might as well get a book, a good chair, and find a beach somewhere and just read it until it comes to the end. This is a good thing, gang.
Amen.
This is a good thing.
Amen.
people have been they sent money that I'm gonna be taking along to make this, help continue this and make this possible.
Amen.
Well, I have a payment due. Who made the payment?
That's right.
Who made the bill? You know, you can't turn back. You can't turn back. And through all the problems of Job, he said, I'll not turn my back on him.
Amen.
Who's the him?
God.
It's a capital H-I-M. Can't turn back. I won't turn back. I'm not going to turn back. Kind of makes me think of the song. Old Bobby Larkin had troubles of his own. Had an old cat that wouldn't leave home. Thought it was a goner, but the cat came back. Thought it was a goner, but the cat came back because he wouldn't stay away. The cat came back. Well, I gotta get my guitar out. I gotta work on that. Change the words. Satan wants me to turn back. He wants me to quit. And it is disheartening. When you get 8 or 9 people, it's disheartening. Especially the hours. I was up till after midnight last night, and then I was up 5:30 again this morning. Putting this together. So, well, there ain't nothing to that. You just take your Bible and you go, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Oh, there we go. Micah 5:1. It's more than that. Well, I read right here, and you read right there, and you better study it. You can't just point your finger and say, well, it must have been a God because I opened up the book. When I opened up the book, there it was. 1 Corinthians 10, there it was. And Paul said, 1 Corinthians 10:1, I would that you not be ignorant. So I worked on this, and I worked on this. And no matter what happens, we can't turn back.
Amen.
Unless what back there was better. Now there might be something back there that made you feel good. But guess what? Guess what happens to make you feel good stuff? It goes away. And then you gotta do some more to make it feel good. That's how come people get hooked on that stuff. On the drugs or medication. It's because it feels good, so it wears off and you gotta do it again. And then you gotta do it again. And then one day, you're sitting in the corner playing your spit. A jerry trick, what do you call those jerrys? Really, they can't fasten you now anymore, can you, Carol? Not allowed to do that.
Not even in prisons.
Pardon?
Not even in prisons.
Not even in prison. Yeah, can't fasten it. Used to call them jerry chairs, I think, something like that. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen. If we live long enough, we may reach the point where we just can't. A lady that used to come here on a regular basis, help start this church, no longer come. But I got word this week that she sits around most of the day and goes all day. All day. And her daughter, who's 22 years younger than her, is worse off than her. having to use a walker.
Boys and girls, I don't want to turn back to what it was. I'm looking forward to what it's going to be.
Amen.
It is what it is. And what was is gone. And the only thing I got is looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to taking those young kids to
Amen.
Kenya. Son, it has to catch somebody. Because I know that my time is limited. I know. Many people in here have been praying for me, and they keep praying for me. Praying for my family.
Yes.
I was told a couple of weeks ago that how could I be a pastor? How could I be a bishop? Because your family's not in order. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? Well, your family's not in order. The Bible says if a man or a person called to be a bishop or a preacher or something like that, his family should be in order. His house should be in order, or what it reads. And once your kids leave, get married, shack up, do whatever, once they're out of your house, then you're not responsible for them. I'm responsible for Mason, Madison, and Quinn. You say, well, they're your grandparents. They're your great-grandkids. I don't know great-grandparents who are doing stuff like that. You need to get rid of that kid so you can live and do what? And do what? What would I do?
They are keeping you young.
Yeah. I don't want to be like Danny, who sits and listens to the clock. Tick tock, tick tock. He's making new friends down at the senior center. But at the same time, I don't want to sit in the house alone. And they keep me young. I don't want to turn back. January 13th in 2016, I became single again. For the first time in 55 years. So now I'm 58, 9 years. I've been single for 3-4 years. And I don't like it. I don't like it. And I don't want to turn back to that. I don't want to go back to that. Being single.
You were in my bedroom at 2 a.m. and it happens quick.
Yeah, I got the call. I only lived 2 miles away. And I was in his bedroom. We got there and his wife was on the floor. She was gone. Anything that she saved, collected, whatever, didn't make a bit of difference. You know, when the time was up, it was bang, it was like that. So, for the few of you that are in here, I don't know what to tell you, except we've come too far to turn back.
Amen.
Christ Chapel's come too far to turn back. Satan's trying to shut us down. And guess who is who's helping? Church members. Church members are helping him to try and close those doors. Church members are helping him. It's not outside. It's not outside. The outsiders aren't helping him. I really love times I've been to Disney World and you rarely hear me use the term love. I really love it. I love that biscuit, I love them cabbage, I love that mama cabbage. I love that pizza or whatever. But I almost can say love the Hall of Presidents, the time that I've gone back and forth to Disney World. Because when you live in Florida, when your folks, people and friends want to visit from up north, they want to go to Disney World, so you go to Disney World. And the Hall of Presidents, Abraham Lincoln, the guy, they have him he looks so real. Those of you who've been there, you've seen him. And he gets up out of the chair, and it's supposed to be Abraham Lincoln. And he goes on and he gives a talk in the figure and says, all the terrorists of the world cannot destroy these United States of America. The only thing that can destroy the United States of America is if it comes from within. That was a quote from Abraham Lincoln. It comes from within, and that destroys. Ministry after ministry after ministry. Some of you remember Pastor Shea. He died. His wife Sandy did her best to try and keep things going in the small church in York Haven. And I talked to her about 2 months ago. She said, finally, we struggled and struggled. It got down to 6 people. They had a nice big building with nice classrooms. And you didn't have to go down in the basement to the nursery. It was nice. All brick. They don't make them all brick today. Can't afford it. But she told me, she said, we got down to 6 people. She couldn't keep the doors open anymore. So we had to sell it. In the past 3 months, I've had 2 different preachers that asked me, when do you want to sell the church? Well, first of all, I can't sell the church. You can sell the building, but you can't sell the church, because we are the church. And we've come too far to turn back. Amen. I don't know what's going to happen when I go to Kenya. I try not to worry about it. Worry has not always been in my vocabulary, but I'm deeply concerned about it. Who will be here? And no one will be going over to our house and get Linda and Liz and the kids. They didn't do it before. They won't do it again. Now see how negative I am? How did I get negativity? That just didn't sound right, did it? Coming from the pulpit.
Can I come up there or not?
Pardon?
Can I come up and raise my foot to you?
Can you come up?
Yeah, and raise my foot to you?
Raise your foot.
Yeah, my first.
No. But I'm putting the fleece out that somebody will go to the house and bring that. Even if Linda sleeps all the way through the service. At least she's here. She loves coming. She comes Wednesday night, she sits over there at the table, and she works on her word finding. Some might say, well, why she even come? Because she loves to come to church.
Amen.
She enjoys the fellowship. She's a person who, as far as I know, she's been with us 30 years. Has never had a boyfriend or a man. Don't know. For 30 years. Very apprehensive about being around men. But she's loosened up. She's joked with Denny, the other Denny. in Leezy, she jokes with these guys. And Randy, she jokes with them, kids with them, and she loves to come to church. She loves to come to church. And should it come to pass that it's no longer here, we will see that she's in church somewhere. I passed 3 or 4 churches in the 3.5 miles I live from here to come here. Carol passed some of them, how many, from where you live? Probably half a dozen. The Keeners leave Red Line where it's got 6 gigantic or 5 gigantic, well-thriving, striving churches. There's Bethany. Beautiful building. On Main Street or Broadway. And then on First Avenue is St. Paul's. You go in there and it's so gorgeous. The lights hanging from the ceiling. Each side, 6. They're carved out of the disciples. And it's like the disciples hanging like that, holding the light. All the way back in the sanctuary. And the last I talked to somebody there, they said that they're lucky if they get 30 people on a Sunday morning. Sometimes 40. On holidays, they get a little more. We know that story. I've had people say, well, when we have our little breakfast that we have, some people come just for the breakfast. Hey, fantastic. Fantastic.
They see the camaraderie.
Yeah, the camaraderie, the time that we have to share together. There's things that I gotta play this for you. I gotta play this for you. If I can find it. Yeah. Oh, okay. A-R-K-I-N. That's my name. L-A-L-K-I-N. Now, where are you going here, Bobby? Okay. All right, here we go somewhere. I think I can get them. I think I can. All right. Not now? Okay. Here we go. Okay. Here's what I want you to see. I lost it. Ah, let's try it again. Isn't that wonderful? I think that's wonderful. One of the funniest things that happened yesterday amongst all the things that tried to go wrong with the rain and the flat tire. Denny's sitting out there waving, had his best thing on. And the Lancaster bus stopped and opened the door. I thought he was waiting for the bus. Now the smoke is rolling. There's big signs. 4x5 signs of plywood. White with red letters. Chicken barbecue. And then there's our funny chicken that we set out all the time. And he's sitting there and he's holding the flag open. It's right side of him. And they said, you need a ride, mister. There's funny things that happen. The camaraderie. The camaraderie. We can't give it up, guys. We can't give it up. He said to me yesterday, he says, does that thing record? Yeah, buddy, it records. It records.
One of the funny things I saw yesterday that was when you was talking to that gentleman that was in the Navy, you said?
Yes.
Megan was talking to somebody else and you guys were just both gabbing away.
It's a family thing.
Oh, yes.
Don't fall far from the tree. There are people who work and do things for the church, you never know they're doing it. And they couldn't, even with the small crowd we have, group we have, they would never get up in front of just this group that we have here. But yet they're in the background doing something, and making sure that the church goes on.
You ever think why a trailer had a flat tire at Fryesville? You ever think of that? Where our minister came from, you had to do a lot of work there in Fryesville.
Oh, man.
And that trailer stopped right there in Fryesville.
Almost every house in Kendale Heights out of the foreman. A carpenter. Yes, guess who else was a carpenter?
Jesus.
Jesus. Okay, guys and gals, I've held you long enough. When you leave here today, ask yourself a question. Turn back to what? What would I turn back to? What could I turn back to? We've come too far to turn back. There's no turning back. Satan brings to our minds sometimes some of the things of the past that was. We can't live with the was. And some of that's what it is. We can't live with that either. So what's left to do? And that's live for what God wants us to do.
Amen.
Mark 16:15. Go. We're going. And we're going to have a lot of them same children, because Brenda and I was there last May. That's a picture of last May. And they may be sitting there on the ground. Because there's no seat, no tables, no place for them to sit. They sit on the ground. Can you imagine having 100 kids, 150 kids sitting on the ground? I'm so happy to just be able to get a little bowl or plate of food.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've got enough money. I've got enough money to fix me. When I get old, listen, we're already old. We're already old. Probably the two youngest people in here is Connie and Christopher. Oh, Carol's pretty young. Good. When you get old, let me tell you, I already said it before, I'm saying it again. What you saved up, York Hospital Memorial, they call it Pinnacle now, and they call it OSS. They got all them big places that, and they'll make sure and get that money you got. Right across the street, I see the daughter leaving over there, Mr. Mundus. He stood there and showed Brian and I went over on our last barbecue. He stood there with tears in his eyes. Please pay for it. The car's sitting in the garage, it's over, but it's paid, everything's paid for. It's beautiful. He was after my heart because we went in the room where he had his mounts, a full-size deer, and some huge antlers of white-tailed deer. But he stood there and tears ran down his cheeks. He said, I don't know what's going to happen to this. We saved all these years. My daughter wants to put me in a home. Tears just run down his cheek. His biggest handicap is he's nearly blind. He's not stupid. You talk to him, he carries on a good conversation. He says, I guess now we're going to go live. They say I'm going to go live with my son. He says, come here, I want to show you. And so Brian and I followed him through the house, and he opened up the door from the kitchen into the garage, and he says, oh, what's going to happen with that? And he points to that.
They want to get rid of it.
They want to get rid of his antique car. Everything that man worked for years and saved up for it. It's gonna be. I want to heck, somebody, $2, come on, folks. In this box, can I hear $100 for this box? Can I get $1 for this box? Of all the stuff that he thought was so important, down through the years. And every one of us is the same, that we thought were so important. I looked at those mounts hanging on the wall. There was a time when I was a young man, I had to give a right arm to be able to shoot an elk like that. Later on, it almost cost the right arm to shoot an elk like that. That's what it costs. But we spend so much time, and I have to apologize, and I have to ask the Lord to forgive me. We spend so much time and money on keeping stuff that one day, maybe somebody that don't even like in the family is going to be in charge of it.
Dad and Vinny both have mounts. I don't know if anybody else does, but every one of them have a story. They can remember that story to the point.
I give you a story to every mountain hanging out.
I remember going to Denny's and you guys were talking about one of the mounts. Then he shot up, I think, up at the camp. What it is.
Yeah, when he shot up the camp, brought it back, had it on the game rack in the back. He had the chain around it and had a lock on it. And Dad says, just to tease my dad, where'd you think that deer was going to go?
Yeah, but it gives you a good story and a laugh.
You said something about feeding memories a couple weeks back.
Yeah, feeding memories. Memories are what we feed them.
And those are the ones you guys eat. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, that's what we remember. Well, then today, I'll give you this story, then we end. It's a true story. So, those of you who helped us yesterday, you met a young lady named, why did I slip my mind? Nice young lady, friend of Elizabeth. Damn, did that girl work.
Jasmine flower.
Jasmine. Jasmine. That girl works.
Yes, she does.
And she didn't run, she didn't growl, she just there and she just going bang, just doing it. Well, my granddaughter said, well, I'll take her home, Dad, or Pat, you look tired. So I was getting at the kitchen table, and said, they took it. And I was sitting there finishing up, working on the lesson, and they come in about an hour later. And they said, we almost died. Elizabeth said, yes, we almost died. I said, why? She said, because a bull came out in front of us and hit a car. I said, what are you talking about? A bull with horns that big. I said, horns that big? That had to be a Texas Longhorn. Well, I don't know what it was, but it almost hit us, and it hit a car coming towards us, wrecked the car, and they had to haul it away because it broke out the windshield, and the boy, when that bull hit the mirror of the car, it hit him in the face when the windshield broke, got blood in his face, they called him. I said, no way, don't tell me that. How? And I told him that it started out with a flat tire and ended up with a bull hitting the car. He said, and they saw it in front of us when that guy hit it. He said, we came so close and Nicole swerved and this kid coming and he hit it. And flipped it. She said, Pap, that bull flipped. And that's how the day ended.
So when
Now that sounds like a lot of bull. But that's the truth. They waited till the cops came and the boy's mother came. And Jasmine said he did. I've never been with a family like this family. And she's with us all day long tonight before too. So I've never been with a family like this. We just stand there.